What if I told you that one simple financial principle could turn even small amounts of money into a fortune over time? What if you could make money while you sleep, without taking huge risks, and without relying on luck? That principle exists, and it's called compound interest. Many people think making money requires working harder, finding the perfect investment, or catching the next big trend. But compound interest doesn't work that way. It's quiet, patient, and unstoppable, and yet, most people overlook it. Imagine planting a tree and walking away for decades. You don't water it every day, you don't prune it constantly, and yet it grows taller and stronger every year. Compound interest works the same way with money. Your money earns interest, that interest earns interest, and over time, this snowball effect can create wealth that seems almost magical. The shocking part: most people underestimate how powerful compound interest is because it requires patience. They expect instant results. They check their bank account after a week or a month and wonder why it hasn't grown into a massive fortune. But the truth is, compound interest isn't about quick wins. It's about consistent growth over years or decades. Even Albert Einstein reportedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He understood that a small amount invested wisely today could grow exponentially in the future. The power of compounding is so strong that it can outpace almost every other financial strategy if you give it time. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly why starting early is more important than how much you invest. You'll understand the simple mechanics behind it. See real-life examples of how ordinary people have built extraordinary wealth, and learn the mindset that lets compound interest work for you instead of against you. If you've ever thought wealth is only for the lucky or the ultra-smart, think again. Compound interest doesn't care who you are. It only cares about time, consistency, and patience. Here's the problem. Almost everyone has heard of compound interest, but very few people actually take advantage of it, and the reason is simple. Most people completely misunderstand how it works. The biggest misconception is that you need a lot of money to get started. People think compound interest is only for the rich or for those who already have thousands or millions to invest. So they delay. They wait until they have enough money. But that delay is exactly what destroys the power of compounding. Another common mistake is expecting quick results. We live in a world of instant gratification. Social media shows people making money overnight. Crypto booms, stock market hype, and viral success stories make it seem like wealth should come fast. So when someone invests a small amount and sees only a tiny return after a few months, they lose interest. They think it's not working. But compound interest is slow in the beginning. Very slow. That's what makes it dangerous to ignore. In the early years, the growth feels almost invisible. Your money grows, but not enough to impress you. And because of that, many people quit before the magic even begins. There's also a lack of consistency. People invest once, maybe twice, and then stop. They don't build the habit. They treat investing like a one-time action instead of a long-term system. But compound interest only works when you keep feeding it. It's like a machine that needs regular input to produce exponential output. Another major issue is spending instead of investing. Every time you spend money on things that don't grow in value, you are not just losing that money, you are losing what that money could have become in the future. That is the hidden cost most people never think about. A small purchase today could have turned into something much bigger over time if it had been invested instead. And finally, people underestimate time. They think starting at 30 or 40 is early enough. But in the world of compounding, even a few years can make a massive difference. Starting late means you have to invest much more money to achieve the same result, so the real problem is not lack of opportunity. It's lack of understanding, patience, and consistency. Now let's break this down in the simplest way possible. Compound interest is not complicated. In fact, once you understand it, you'll wonder why more people don't use it. At its core, compound interest means you earn interest not just on your original money, but also on the interest that money has already earned. In other words, your money starts working for you, and then your earnings start working for you too. Let's take a simple example. Imagine you invest $100 and earn 10% per year. After the first year, you make $10. Now you have $110. That part is easy. But here's where things change. In the second year, you don't earn interest on just the original $100. You earn interest on $110. That gives you $11 instead of $10. Now you have $121 in the third year. You earn interest on $121. Then on $133. Then on $146. And it keeps going. This might not seem like a big difference at first. The numbers grow slowly in the beginning, but over time, something powerful happens. The growth starts to accelerate. It's no longer linear. It becomes exponential. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a hill. At the top, it's small and barely noticeable, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow, gets bigger, and moves faster. By the time it reaches the bottom, it's massive. That's exactly how compound interest behaves. In the early years, it feels like nothing is happening. But if you stay consistent and give it enough time, the growth becomes dramatic. There are 3 key factors that control how powerful compound interest becomes. First is time. This is the most important factor. The longer your money stays invested, the more time it has to grow and multiply. Even small amounts can turn into large sums if given enough years. Second is the rate of return. A higher return means faster growth, but even moderate returns can lead to significant wealth if combined with time. Third is consistency. Adding money regularly increases the base amount, which means more money is compounding over time. Here's the truth most people miss. Compound interest is not about making big moves. It's about small, consistent actions repeated over a long period. And once you understand this, you stop chasing quick wins and start building a system that quietly grows your wealth in the background. Let's look at a simple but powerful example that clearly shows how compound interest works in real life. This example is often used by financial experts because it completely changes how you think about money. Imagine 2 people. Let's call them Person A and Person B. Person A starts investing early. At the age of 20, they invest $100 every month for just 10 years. By the time they turn 30, they stop investing completely. They don't add another dollar after that, but they leave their money invested and let it grow. Now let's look at Person B. They start later, at age 30, but they are more consistent. They invest $100 every month, all the way until they turn 60. That's 30 years of investing. 3 times longer than Person A. At first, it seems obvious that Person B should end up with more money. After all, they invested for much longer and contributed far more money overall. But here's the surprising part. In many realistic scenarios, Person A actually ends up with more money than Person B. Why? Because Person A gave their money something far more valuable than extra contributions. They gave it time. Those early investments had decades to compound. Even though Person A stopped investing after 10 years, their money kept growing on its own. Year after year, the interest earned more interest, and that growth accelerated over time. Person B, on the other hand, was consistent, but started late. Their money had less time to compound. So even though they invested more total cash, they couldn't fully catch up. This example shows a powerful truth. When it comes to compound interest, time is more important than effort. Starting early beats investing more later. This is exactly how many long-term investors build wealth. They don't rely on timing the market or making risky bets. Instead, they focus on staying invested for as long as possible. Even large institutions and funds understand this. They prioritize long-term growth because they know compounding rewards patience more than anything else. So the next time you think about delaying investing, remember this story. Every year you wait is not just a delay. It's lost potential that can never be fully recovered. So what's the real lesson here? It's simple, but it can completely change your financial future if you actually follow it. First, start as early as possible. This is the single most important rule. It doesn't matter if you can only invest a small amount. What matters is getting started. Time is the most powerful ingredient in compound interest, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. Even a few extra years can make a massive difference in the final result. Second, be consistent. Compound interest only works if you keep adding to it, or at least let it grow without interruption. You don't need to invest huge amounts. What you need is discipline. Investing a small amount every month is far more powerful than investing a large amount once and then stopping. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum is what drives exponential growth. Third, be patient. This is where most people fail. In the beginning, the results are slow. Sometimes it feels like nothing is happening at all. But that's normal. The real growth comes later. If you quit early, you miss the most powerful phase of compounding. You have to trust the process and give it time to work. Fourth, avoid unnecessary withdrawals. Every time you take money out, you interrupt the compounding process. You are not just removing money. You are removing future growth. Think of your investments as something you protect and grow over time, not something you constantly dip into. Fifth, focus on long-term thinking. Stop chasing quick profits, trends, or hype. Compound interest rewards those who stay steady and think in years, not days or weeks. The goal is not to get rich quickly. The goal is to build wealth slowly but surely, and finally, understand this mindset shift. Wealth is not built by working harder alone. It is built by making your money work for you. Compound interest is one of the simplest and most reliable ways to do that. If you follow these principles, you don't need to be a financial genius. You just need to stay consistent and give your money enough time to grow. Now you understand the real power of compound interest. It's not about getting rich overnight. It's about building wealth quietly, consistently, and intelligently over time. The difference between someone who struggles financially and someone who builds long-term wealth often comes down to one simple decision. Do you start now, or do you wait? Because, as you've seen, waiting has a cost. And that cost is time. The one thing compound interest needs the most. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need a huge amount of money. You just need to start, stay consistent, and be patient. That's how real wealth is built. And here's the truth. Most people will watch this, understand it, and still do nothing. But a small percentage will actually take action. Those are the people who benefit from compound interest. Those are the people who build financial freedom over time. So the question is, which one are you going to be? If you want to truly understand how money works, how the wealthy think, and how you can use these same principles to build your own financial future, then make sure you subscribe to The Geeky Investor. Because on this channel, we break down complex financial ideas into simple, practical lessons that you can actually use in your life. Start today. Stay consistent. Let time do the heavy lifting. And I'll see you in the next video.